All right, good morning and welcome once again to channel 196 on Star Times. My name is Dapo Banjo. Welcome to Crossfire. Today is Friday, and on this show, we always appreciate the fact that it's Friday. Not because we are going to have a weekend that is full of rest. It's just because we know that Lagosians and Nigerians generally, we have an opportunity to rest, from the stress of the week. All right, I have with me on the show, as usual, Barrister Ishoma Againe, and we're going to be, running the show together today. And we have an interesting discussion that we have planned, for the show, and we believe very strongly that you will enjoy it. And as usual, we always want you to be a part of the show. Let's know your thoughts on some of the goings on in the society, sometimes totally relevant to the topic, and sometimes it's just something that is bothering you and you need clarity on. Ishoma, is Friday. As for me,
good morning, Nigerians, and then you're welcome to the show.
You
didn't even want me to greet the people. Come on, that's not fair.
Okay, greet the people.
I've greeted them already, so you can go
greet
ahead.
again. Greet again.
I don't greet twice a day.
All right. Anyway, as usual on Friday, we call it, you can call it a Freedom Friday, you can call it a Frenzy Friday, you can call it, but obviously it is not a Fighting Friday. We try to bring information, and we try to educate our viewers and to just let you know one or two things that are really happening in our nation, and it needs to be addressed, and people need to understand exactly what position to take and how to go about, the state of the nation. So this morning we're going to be looking at the state of the nation's security. The state of the nation's security vis-a-vis the activities of the insurgency. Boko Haram activity started about 5 years ago, and up till now, they are still, wreaking a lot of havoc. But we thank the government of the day in the efforts that they are making, and we want to seriously appreciate the effort of the neighboring nations. And all of this has to do with what we will be discussing on the show today. 6 weeks have been announced for postponement of the elections, and so many things has happened within the 6 weeks. We came up with hashtag 6 weeks Nigeria, where we started looking at issues and a lot of situations and so many other things that are bothering the nation, and that we are expecting that the government will bring about a solution to before we approach the polls, March the 28th and April the 11th. Respectively. Now, as planned, we quickly want to acknowledge, the valiant in the falling, in the falling armies, and people who have fought. People who have really fought with their life.
Members of our security agents who have,
and all of that, particularly the Nigerian army. I think in all of this fight, they are the worst hit, and I know that a lot of families have been, touched. Parents. Have really been affected. I know of a young man who was killed, I think it was a Kano bomb. Is a young army officer, and I know it was very devastating when the parents got the news, in Ilorin, Kwara State, and it was quite, a very bad one. It was somebody the entire family were looking up to, and sincerely, information have it that a lot of army, soldiers have died in the course of fighting the insurgency. And
even more than we have been told, even more than the media has reported. And then today on the show, we're paying our deepest respects to our fallen heroes and to their families also. And we're also using this medium to call on our government, the federal government, the state government, also even at the local government levels, to please lend your support to their, their loved ones who they've left behind, and also particularly to fighting, insurgency, whether it's at the terrorist level or it's at some other communal clash level. We hope that our government agencies can also do everything they can to make our communities safer for the people of Nigeria.
For me, I think the security agents in Nigeria have risen up to the challenge. It's been, 6 years, or about 5 years, especially in the last 5 years, of very, very terrible insecurity in the nation. And I don't want to believe, that the government is not making efforts, but I believe that maybe the effort of the government, in actually curbing communal clashes and ethnic, war and problems, but particularly the development, in the area of the insurgency that rose, about 5 years ago in the northeastern part of Nigeria. For me, it is something that Nigeria really never prepared for. You will recall that the president said we underestimated, Boko Haram, because it could have been seen as just one, small Mytasini group again, like it was, back in the days.
Back then wasn't small either. They were actually, based on the activities, they were actually, even stronger than what Boko Haram, the fight they've put up today.
Anyway, but it wasn't not during democracy. It was a military rule.
It was in the 80s, and that was one of the things even General Buhari fought and completely stopped when he took over. So that means that is to tell you Mytasini was in existence even before he took over the government of the day. Just in case you do not know, please do your findings.
It's not about doing findings.
Do you know why I'm more perturbed right now? On Monday, we came and talked about how Boko Haram pledged allegiance to ISIS. And now ISIS also released, they made available to the public, to the world, a response to the Boko Haram sect, saying they've accepted their allegiance, and they see it as a welcomed development to extending their campaign and setting up their caliphate in West Africa. This is something we should be...
I think the government of Nigeria should pay attention. I think the government of Nigeria should pay attention. That's one.
The issue is how prepared.
Number two is that I have a problem. We try as much as possible to manage information on the show so that we don't, pass the wrong information. But the truth is that all that ISIS supposedly have done have not been verified. They sent an audio,
which is still being verified.
So the point is
my issue is who is verifying that? Who is verifying
we will know if that was actually particularly released by ISIS.
Our Nigerian government is doing the verification. All the US easy. With all their...
Then we find out if that response was actually, from ISIS. Believe you me.
But then the truth is, I hope our security agents and the government of the day are particularly on their toes. I hope they're having sleepless nights to making sure they end this completely. Because the truth is,
but
if it's true, it's the people who will suffer.
Yeah.
So we hope
it will be very worthy to extend, this fight against insurgency in Nigeria, and whether there's an allegiance to ISIS or to Al-Qaeda or whatever, terrorist group that Boko Haram think they want to associate, with or to pledge allegiance to. But the most important thing is that it is worthy of note and commendation at the same time. The efforts, the coalition that have been formed by the neighboring nations, the multinational
it's good. It's
efforts to fight the insurgency.
Very good.
I mean, the extent to which Nigerian military have been able to curb the activity of Boko Haram and recapture a lot of towns and villages, that they have encroached on in a long time, has been the fact that, as they fight them, Niger, Cameroon, Chad have not been able to allow the insurgents, to come into their nation. So their activities and their coverage has been narrowed down, and so it's made it a lot easier, for the government to really fight them and beat them out, of existence, as it were. So we should commend, all the nations who are supportive in fighting this particular, terrorism that has befallen Nigeria in the last almost 6 years, ago. Sure. Now, for me, I mean, why we acknowledge that and we reach out and emphasize the need for these neighboring nations to not to just rest, on their horses immediately after Boko Haram has been scorched.
Very true. If it's something
really
that
and truly
should be
the association or the allegiance with ISIS is anything to go about, we need to be very, very sure that it is either yes or a no, and that they are not regrouping and they are not reinforcing, to come back in a very worse form, upon the nation as we progress.
But I actually expected that the government of the day And probably political parties, well, but particularly the government of the day and the various agencies, and particularly our security agents would have put up campaigns, all sorts of media campaigns and all of that, jingles, whatever it is, telling the people about the dangers of, pledging allegiance and joining terrorist organizations, telling the people or educating the people why they shouldn't do that. Because we know, even on Twitter, I mean, there have been some ISIS accounts, which some have been closed, some are still running, but undetected. And we see how they recruit people so much. They're pushing their campaign. We expect that a country like Nigeria that's experiencing this at a local level, our government will do what they can or what they should to also ensure that the people of Nigeria are not being part of that movement.
Truth be
told, we're not saying
that. A nation that has not particularly engaged, in ensuring that unemployment becomes a thing of the past, you will always have a lot of people to regroup. For instance, you don't expect a banker, somebody who is gainfully employed somewhere in an organization and is earning money, is taking care of his family, to just want to put that behind him.
No, that's not true. Because what we have seen, come on, look at ISIS. Look at ISIS, for example. Look at the people who are being recruited by ISIS. Are people who are in colleges, who are technical, who are intelligent people, who have meaningful sources of income, who have families also.
Many of them
do.
Not employed.
No. I'm very. You can find out.
I have found
many of these people have futures. They have, based on what they are doing right now, you could tell that these ones have bright futures.
Yeah, but they are not engaged at the moment. They are not working.
Of course, they are engaged. You find out that, but many of these people, they leave all of that behind, and then they still go ahead and join this movement to kill and spread terror. Why? There is something.
How come the people that Boko Haram succeeded in recruiting into their force?
But do you know that was
basically the Almajiris?
Not only. Mind you also. Can you remember when the controversy came? That even the Boko Haram had already infiltrated our military. Are you trying to tell me that even our military did not have anything to do? Of course, they were gainfully employed. I mean, they had their salaries coming in. But the truth is, you should try. Yes, poverty has a link, but it is not 100% poverty. It has to do with the mindset, the orientation. There is something fundamental that we are not looking at that is enticing these people. That is what the government of the day should find out and break.
I disagree. I believe
you don't need to agree with me, but it's the truth.
You have said it on this show that and I don't mind, it's the devil's workshop.
Very true.
And I believe very strongly that the people that are basically recruited into this force.
They are poor people, but it's not just about poverty here. It's not just about poverty.
It's majorly poverty.
Poverty on one side, but then there is something else that is still drawing the people. Look at people who abandon their families, abandon their love, abandon their jobs.
Anyway,
and join these people.
We'll be looking at it closely vis-a-vis the achievements of the Nigerian military. We'll go on a short break now, and then when we come back, we'll take you through all that we have to discuss today. We'll be right back. All right, we are back, and we've been talking about the state of the Nigerian nation, especially as it borders around security. 5 years ago, or more than that, we had an insurgency, and it's been ravaging particularly the northeastern part of Nigeria. But in recent times, the Nigerian government has risen to the occasion, especially after the 6 weeks announcement of the postponement of the elections. And so we are going to be looking at the successes that the Nigerian military force, and in conjunction with multi-nation effort in fighting the insurgency in Nigeria. Some school of thought believe that this is a great effort from the Nigerian government to ensure that before we have an election, we have a secured nation. But some other people are of the opinion that this is particularly political driven. What's your thought on this matter? For us in the studio, we'll be looking at it. And for me, I don't think that this is politically driven. I believe very strongly that the government is just rising up to the challenge.
They just woke up.
They just woke up.
Yeah, so they were in such a slumber.
No, the government doesn't sleep.
5 years, and then the number of people we have lost don't really matter to them. That they just woke up to the occasion
that is not true,
during
Ishoma.
the 6 weeks postponement of the elections.
No, hold on. Can I say something? Yes. We have had. Let me quickly establish my point.
How long?
While I don't try. Hold on.
No,
hold on. You can ask your question. Let me make my point.
How long does it take to procure weapons for the military?
I will answer your question.
It takes 5 years.
I will answer your question in the course
years.
of the show. But what I'm saying is that look at the, Lauren Gbagbo of this world, look at the Idi Amin of Uganda, look at, the Samuel Doe of Sierra Leone, look at Nigeria, look at leaders in Africa who have been an insurgent even against their nation. That is not the situation we have in Nigeria. You see, sometimes we totally look away from the plus of the government and a few minuses, and that is the human nature. You would have done 10 things good, very fantastic 10 things, and you would do one thing, and that is what human being remembers.
Of course.
And that is why it's so
because
that is why you should not do anything to please any human being.
Evil outskills the good. As humans,
my issue is compare the ratio now of good things that have been done and one bad thing that happens.
Let's be honest and factual here.
Okay.
Do you really think the government of Nigeria, as of today, are ready to give Nigerians credible elections?
Of course, I believe
so. Based on security now, we're linking
yes, I believe so. With what we have on the ground, and that's for me, the 6 weeks postponement has been a plus.
For me, I completely disagree.
How?
First of all, there are so many things when you want to fight insurgency, particularly, look at Nigeria, first of all. I will always say this, that our major problem today is our borders. Our borders are so porous. Anybody can come in unchecked as long as you're ready.
Listen, please,
as long as you are able to part with something, it's easy. You will come in, and in fact, they will even hail you and greet you when next they see you tomorrow.
Okay.
If you say Boko Harams are Nigerians, then
are they not Nigerians?
Wait, if they are 100% Nigerians,
most
because
likely.
I still want to believe that they're infiltrated. They are mixed. Nigerians and foreigners also. But if you say they're 100% Nigerians, then what exactly are internally, our internal security agency, I'm talking about our police force, our MOPOs, and the rest of them on patrol, what exactly are they doing? Now look at our borders. Now, even if you say, okay, they are Nigerians also, how do these people get their ammunition? We do not manufacture ammunition in Nigeria.
We do.
So obviously, it's coming. No, I'm talking about the kind of ammunition it has been proven by even our security agents that they have. They are definitely coming in from a border, whether it's a land border or a seaport, but they are definitely coming in from somewhere. That means our borders are not checked. Or these people have someone in government or within the security agent that gives them free clearance.
Anyway,
don't forget. That is one issue.
Yeah, you have raised a valid issue. Let me respond to
that.
you. Now, I agree with you totally, Shoma, that our borders are porous. I agree also that the setup of Boko Haram today may not be strictly Nigerians. But the truth remains that Boko Haram as an insurgent, the insurgency as it were, called Boko Haram, started in Nigeria. Nobody has ever come from any nation to come and start that. Now, recruiting people from neighboring nations does not particularly mean, does not change the fact that the face of Boko Haram is actually Nigeria. ISIS responding in recent times did not respond to Africa. They responded to the call of Boko Haram. And Boko Haram actually shouted out to them from Nigeria that they are pledging their allegiance. Now, my concern is this. If you say that Nigerian borders are porous, the neighboring nations, what has happened to them?
We're not talking about the neighboring nations.
That is to tell you that those borders are also porous.
No, listen,
I'm not comparing.
Do not compare because
I want to make
we have
point.
no business as regards this issue with our neighboring countries. Our focus here is Nigerians. Nigerians are the ones who are priority as regards those who have been hit. My issue is, even if the rest of the world, they have porous borders, but then in Nigeria, particularly since the government are saying that we are combating insurgency, it's only natural that we expected that. One thing the government or our security chiefs would have advised Mr. President was make sure our borders are secured. You want to fight them in the country, then make sure all our borders, all our borders, do not just focus on only the borders within the Northeast.
Let's take this call quickly. Peace, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, sir.
How are you today?
Hi, Peace.
Fine, thank you.
Good
Do
morning.
you think that the insurgency in the northeastern part of Nigeria is politically motivated?
Yes, it's politically motivated.
All right, let's have your point.
Hello. My point is, some of you are in Lagos, Abuja. You don't really know what's happening in the north. You just read papers and you conclude what's really happening in the north.
Wow.
Let's be sincere with this fact. The Boko Haram, those guys are being protected by the north. When they started, if you look at it, when they started, some of our leaders in the north condemned the government then, when the government were fighting these people. And today, you people are saying the government is not working. When they started, the military started killing these people then. You people said they are killing their people in the north. And they used to shade them, hide them here in the north. They don't expose them. It's when they start attacking the mosque. That's when they start making points. Today, in the north, these people, let me tell you, if you like, whatever you want to do, condemn Good Luck administration or whatever, this man has done well. And the military are doing their best. The problem we are having is our leaders in the north. That's just the truth. Okay. The leaders in the north, they are shading these people. They are hiding them. That's just the truth. When we started, in Yako, the governor of Adamawa State, right and condemned the action the military is taking against these people. And you people don't really look back. You are just saying today, the government is not working, the government is not working. Let me tell you the truth, the government is working. If you like, believe it or not, the government is working. I'm in the north. I know what we are going through in the north. You people are in the southwest. You are enjoying everything in the southwest. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Well, then
Peace.
we also believe that's your opinion because we're not here. We're not trying to.
For instance,
we are not trying to
my
throw
opinion.
shade. Yeah, I know he's sharing your opinion,
yeah.
but then we're still not trying to throw shade at the northern leaders or if you have.
Why would you not? Why would you not blame the northern leaders?
We're not blaming them because until you have your facts, you cannot blame.
Okay,
my issue
has Boko Haram launched any attack against any?
Now you should understand something that when we're here talking,
any attack against any government, their state government. Have they gone to blow
because then they have so much security.
Oh.
So if you're saying...
That's why they didn't go. With the but they could go and take over a cantonment. They could go and take over a cantonment.
Of course, because of course you should have also known that we've been hearing also how true that is, we're yet to know. But then we've been hearing rumors also that they've also infiltrated the military. Who should be protecting?
Yeah,
so,
I mean,
until they are able to infiltrate the government within that particular facility, then you will know, okay, then we heard there was so and so particular, but of course, we've also heard that there were times that there were even gunfires, even while they tried gaining access to the state government.
Unfortunately,
the state government house.
Have you forgotten? Unfortunately, the worst hit part of the northeast.
Have you forgotten?
Wait, the northeast. Part of the nation that have been really war ravaged about the activities of the Boko Haram. Don't forget, they even belong to the opposition party. So there's every possibility that I stand to be corrected, that this whole thing is is kind of, it's form of politics.
Now, wait. You said something now that particularly the states which have been at the benchmark of opposition-led states.
Yes.
So doesn't that, or shouldn't that tell you something now that the insurgency right now is being supported, is being supported by another whatever against opposition? No.
What has been the effort of the state? What has been the effort? Okay,
my
listen
issue
now.
right now is we're not trying to throw shade at whatever leader or whoever. We are looking at it that really, if our government there, let's not divert also, so we do not confuse our audience, because what we're talking about is how true or how serious is this government in fighting insurgents and making sure that we have a secure nation before the elections. So do not look at this as only a northern thing. Of course, this should be Nigeria generally also.
Let me tell you something.
Now you should understand, because look, in as much as
should be given. You're not allowing me to talk, so don't tell me wait.
To the north, I know. But my issue is, look at also the loopholes in the south also. Now, I mentioned something about our borders also, because it's possible also that they could be bringing some of this ammunition or recruiting through the southern part of the country unchecked. And then you see them taking them back via road. It's very possible.
It is
My
possible.
issue is, why hasn't the government done anything concrete today to make sure that our borders are well protected than mine?
Okay, and now the activities of Boko Haram over the years have been nucleated and narrowed down to a particular, to some states in the north. You know, anyway, let's take this call. Yusuf, good morning.
Good morning.
Hello, Yusuf.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, please, in the sense that our federal government, hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, our federal government is playing politics with our people. And the people they are now it takes
Yusuf, sorry, we can't hear you. Can you call us back, please?
Please call us back, Yusuf.
Thank you.
I was trying to make a point. The activities of Boko Haram, everybody knows everywhere in the world that it is predominantly operational and effective and efficient and destructive in the northeastern part of the of the country. Now, there are state governments there. I am not talking about federal government commanding the might, you know, across, because the federal might, hold on now. I listen to you, Ishoma. Can you listen to me?
Before you listen to state government,
I am not throwing any shade. Let me make my point.
The federal government at some point in time also declared state of emergencies in those areas. Now, if you understand what a state of emergency means, when you do that in that state, you have also limited, as regards that issue, you've limited the powers of the state governments there. Just in case you do not know. So do not yes, we know they have state governments there, but you've already enforced state of emergency. Okay. Now that's saying you're tying their hands.
So can I make my point?
So then the federal government should be up to the task.
Can I make my point? Who? All right, let's see. When you say, I ask you who, because when we talk about state government and we talk about federal government, I'm saying that there's a need for you to understand that the state government have a responsibility.
They have a responsibility there, but then you already declared state of emergencies in those areas. Anyway. You declared state of emergencies in those areas.
Okay, let's take this call. Hello, Bean. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Yeah. Please, I want to disagree with you that government has hand in lead of some subjects of the case. Because, as you can see, just for the 6 people postponement of the election, action is being taken. Why delay for the time? Why would they start it 5 years back? And if people are trying to say that they don't have equipment, so does it take them 5 years to import this equipment? And number two, let me tell you, even within the military, we have this insurgent among them. I have a fact. I have a senior brother who is a soldier. He's now lying down. He's not well. Due to all this things, what he told us, some of their leaders, commanders in the military, they are also part of the Boko Haram people. So we send those people with just AK-47 to the field. Why the insurgent have more sophisticated weapons than them? So now you government are trying, government are behind all this thing. Thank you.
Thank you, but then that's Bean's opinion also.
When you have a nation that is not together, when you have government institutions, just because they have a disagreement with the federal government and they decide to go on their way, isolate themselves and do something. Let's take this call. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Yeah, I'm Lokoja.
All right, please go ahead and make your contribution.
All right. Something is that before any terrorist group will start in any country, whether big or small, is that maybe there will be somebody that will bring them in. You know, the issue of Boko Haram now is that, okay, they were brought in by someone, by so many of our leaders, our top leaders. They were brought in these people. Okay, now the thoughts maybe anytime they say stop this thing, they will stop. Now these people have gone beyond their own imagination, and now these people are unstoppable. First of all, I'll give kudos to the president and to our military. These people are trying very serious to tackle this issue, but there are still some people inside this government that still don't want this thing to end. It's not that the people, they don't know who these people are. They know it, but Okay, now they brought in some countries, some military from outside to come and tackle this issue. Do you think this is not a war of a state? This is not a state war. This is a national war. These people are not killing one a day. They are killing more than 20 people anytime they went for any attack. So the government should just launch an attack on them. This is a war against Boko Haram, war against terrorism. They shouldn't take these people for granted. These people are having sophisticated weapons. Their weapon is more than what our army are using. So they should just launch an attack on them, clear up all these people instead of. I can see that now they want to put mercy into this thing. And it's not supposed to be. There's no mercy. They are not supposed to bring them to law. They kill people without mercy. They should also clear them off without mercy.
All right.
Now,
you see, every nation has a right. Every nation has a right. The fact that the government has not acted, very seriously before now is not the fact that it does not deny the fact that government knows exactly why they do not want to fight the insurgency the way they are fighting them now.
Okay. Let's take this call.
You end up killing your own people.
But then that's why it should be
good morning, Usman.
Damage.
Good morning. Good morning, Banjo.
Good morning, Usman.
I'm fine, Andy.
Very well, thank God.
All right, thank you. I really appreciate what the effort the government is putting up in fighting.
Thank you.
So, but my main concern is that as the Grand Commander of the Federation, you have all rights and all information on your desk, showing and telling you what security details of the nation is going on about. There is no way the federal government will tell us that it doesn't know how a Boko Haram is being financed. The money they are being given to buy to buy ammunition from abroad. Which way are the money going through? Are they not through the border? If not through the border, it must go through an account of which a bank, central bank, have the legality. They have the legality to monitor all the monetary regulation in the country. So what are they telling us?
Okay.
They want us to use our phone to count the number of our teeth. Can that be possible? I'm asking a question, please.
Oh, all right. Now, in answering, Usman's question, thank you very much, Usman, for your contribution. We appreciate that. Now, in answering one or two, questions that has generated from the contribution that we have had, there is a need for us to understand that there's a problem on ground, and government is doing what they have to do.
He said something now. He said something now, which I really it sank in my head as he mentioned it. That look, even these terrorists or whoever it is that's funding them, they also send money through one form of account or the other.
What of it money exchange hands?
No way, they also transfer. Is it that the CBN are not also monitoring these people?
They may not transfer.
They
may not transfer.
Of course, at some point in time, whether now or even 2011, even as at 2011. So even if they're carrying, even if they're not transferring, which we believe they are, then the CBN should have been on their toes to check that out. But then they're moving out of the country. Are you telling me that they do not checkmate these people while moving? So you said there's a discord. There is a discord.
All these questions will be answered when we come back from the short break. We'll be right back. We are back, and this is Crossfire, and we've been looking at the state of the Nigerian nations as it borders around security. And some of the concerns that we have had on the show is to establish, is the fight now against Boko Haram or the insurgency in Nigeria political driven, or how have we allowed the security situation in the country to go down to this level before we start fighting it? I kept on saying, and I'm still of the opinion, that this is not politically driven. Why? It is simple. The nation would have to do what they have to do. Politics or no politics, election or no elections. Now, if you say there is a coincidence, if you say, hold on, Ishoma, always I allow you to make your point. Can I make my point? Can I make my point, Ishoma? Hold on. I'm saying that there's a need to understand. There's a need to understand that everything has a time.
Yeah.
The government of the day is making efforts to ensure that you separate the chaff from the wheat. Okay. If not, if care is not taken, there's every possibility you take all of them out.
They needed 5 years.
It can take forever. Oh. How long did it take America to get rid of
but
Osama
mind you, it took them some years to get rid of Osama, but then they made sure that they protected their people.
So
they did everything they could.
People still died.
They did everything they could.
Died.
Now, that was Osama bin Laden.
Yes.
Do you know that we do not even have an accurate data of all the number of persons who have lost their lives from Boko Haram insurgency?
Likewise, you may never know how many people are killed.
60. Of course they do.
You may never know everything.
Don't say that.
Go and watch Discovery Channel. It will show you a lot of missing people they are still looking for. You don't have an idea of how they died. But guess what? Even the FBI and the CIA, they're all working because they've already looked at the pattern of their deaths also. Okay. Now, my issue, because this is Nigeria, let's bring it out to focus. Yeah. Now, we're talking about insurgency in the Northeast, but now even in the South, there are other issues which have made the people wonder how true are our governments, how true are they in fighting insurgency, or in fact even any form of attack against any human life. I'm saying that the state government have a responsibility, just like the federal government.
You should understand something.
Do you pass through Third Mainland Bridge?
When I talk about government,
if you pass the Third Mainland Bridge, you will see police officers on the Third Mainland Bridge. Is it Jonathan that said they should stand there? No. The state government arranged that because they know that bridge is not secure at night. It's not secure.
Now, at this time that you're commending the state government in Lagos State.
How much of work has the state government done in the northeastern part of the
We have heard, of course, I don't live there. I don't live in the Northeast.
But information they have responsibilities, but they do it to support the federal government.
The state of emergency, which was imposed in those states, has also, to a large extent, crippled the effort.
Before the state of the emergency, what is the effort of the state government?
They said they did what they did.
What did they do?
But my issue is,
what did they do?
Of course, they did what they did.
Did they put a face to Boko Haram? Were they able to put a face to Boko Haram?
Hello, look at your concurrent list. Look at your concurrent list. Security majorly falls within the ambit of the federal government. In as much as the states, they also have a hand in ensuring...
So they should fold their hands. Fashola should fold his hands and not provide security for Lagosians.
And the APC-led government, these are individuals who focus on the lives of their people.
Who is the government in Borno State?
My issue is...
Who is the government in Borno State? Is it PDP government?
My issue is
it PDP government in Borno State?
If you impose a state of emergency...
No, answer my question. Is it PDP government in Borno State?
You impose a state of emergency, and now you want the people, you want the government to be all up on it, on their task. When you have imposed a state of emergency, ridiculing their activities to be able to also help in aiding to checkmate.
I disagree with you. I disagree with you.
We're talking about that totally. Also. Do you know our police? There are rumors our police force.
Good morning,
They want to also go on strike.
Morning, Shehu.
You're blaming that on them.
Let's take Shehu's call. Good morning, Shehu.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm fine.
All right, good. Go ahead.
See, our government have done it wrong from the beginning. They got it wrong.
Thank you.
I don't think if you understand.
I do. Just make your point. We are following you.
They grant them state of emergency for how many months? They couldn't do anything. Why is it a period of these 6 weeks they were able to do what they did now? What happened to the past? So what were they waiting for? Huh?
It's just a coincidence, Shehu.
It's not a coincidence.
I think it is.
When you plan to fail, you will fail.
You understand what I'm trying to say? You will succeed.
You will succeed. This time they know that if they didn't try and sort this thing out, it will cause more havoc for them, and they were able to succeed. What of all this? Why you grant one state of emergency, the Senate give it to you. That particular time, what happened? Why now? They could have done it before now, but they look at it as a small insurgent everywhere. Is an insurgent.
Now, but do you remember the government came out very strong that they underestimated the insurgency?
Why?
as a government, what will you say?
They are just a bunch of criminals. How did this start? They are just a bunch of criminals in one part of the nation.
Excuse me.
Okay.
Someone who is using bombs, suicide bombers to kill human beings, you are still saying you order.
No, they grew. They did not start bombing.
My brother, let me tell you something.
Yeah.
Killing in Nigeria is a crime.
Yes.
They didn't kill 1, 2, 3 thousands of Nigerians, and you are still saying you are underestimating them. How about, is it, okay, what will be happening in Aso Rock? Will you still underestimate? Huh? My brother, human being is always a human, whether it's a madman or anything. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Shehu, for your contribution. Now you need to understand this very strongly. I mean, our time is well spent. We need to understand that, you see, on this show, we can disagree on so many points, but truth is that today, be it a coincidence or a deliberate action, let me make my point now. You will make your point, Ishoma. Can I finish my point?
I commend the federal government in their efforts. But my issue and the issue of a lot of Nigerians is that this response was well planned. It was timely. Which should be their effort in curbing insurgency or any form of insecurity issue should be for the good of the people, not for your personal advantage.
Thank you. We have come to the end of today's show.
Not for your personal advantage.
Each and every one of us who have been a part of our show. Since Ishoma will not allow me to talk on the show,
don't defend what's not proper.
Close and go home. Today is Friday. We want to wish you a very beautiful evening. There's no fight between myself and Ishoma. We disagree on this show to agree. All we care about is just that peace should reign in our country and security of life and property should be restored. Be it politically motivated or not. All we want is peace for our nation. Thank you so very much.
And we also hope our state governments and our federal governments, in the interest of the people, can put aside their political parties and differences and come together and ensure there's peace in our nation.
All right. So we want to say bye-bye to you for being a part of our show and part of our week. And we expect that from next week, Monday, you will be a part of our show at the same time. Thank you and stay out of trouble.
God bless you.